We're joined from Montreal by Pierre Cléroux, Vice President of Research and Chief Economist at the Business Development of Canada. Pierre, thanks a lot for joining us. How do you interpret the statement from U.S. President Donald Trump? It was absent many details, so we are left to guess and assume about some parts of what he's planning.
Yeah, that's a key point. Obviously, this is not a good news, but at the same time, like Jeremy was saying, our understanding is it's not going to cover all goods, but it's going to cover the goods that are not part of the free trade agreement. So this is, if that happened on August 1st, the impact on the economy is going to be quite limited because most of the export that we do to the U.S. are under the free trade agreement. So we shouldn't be too worried about this. I think it's just part of the negotiation between the two countries.
How much of an obstacle is this to the two countries reaching a trade deal that is satisfactory to this country, Canada?
Well, I think it's just another part of the negotiation. I don't think it makes the negotiation more difficult. I think it's putting a little bit more pressure on Canada. But we already knew that this negotiation was not going to be easy. So I think it's just going to make it a bit more difficult to reach an agreement. But I think it's possible because we have to remember, we see it from the Canadian side, but it's the export to the U.S., the trade between the two countries is also beneficial for the U.S. economy. So that's why we are hopeful that we will reach an agreement between the two countries.
You really think this does not make negotiations more difficult, that right in the middle of negotiations, the president of the U.S. launches this towards us?
Well, I think it's another. I don't think so. I think it's putting a little bit more pressure, but the reality is still the same. And I think we have good arguments to make a deal with the U.S. because we are an important trade partner with the U.S. We also have similar economy, so we don't we export a lot to the US, but we also import a lot from the US as well. We are the #1 client for many states in the United States. So this is not a one-way trade, it's really a two-way trade between the two countries. So we should be able to find an agreement with the US.
Okay, we got jobs numbers this morning from Canada. As is often the case, they were very much at odds with expectations. In this case, they were much, much more positive than economists had thought. 80,000 jobs created, most of those part-time jobs, but there were full-time jobs added to the economy as well, and the rate of unemployment declined. What's that telling you about the state of the Canadian economy in the midst of this tariff tension?
I think it's a very good news. It shows that the Canadian economy is resilient. We see the negative impact of the tariff on our export. Our export has been declining, but at the same time, our export has been more diversified. So for example, in May, our export to the US are down, but our export to the rest of the world has been increasing in such a way that our portion of export to the US represent now 68% of the total compared to 76% in 2024. So slowly our businesses diversify their export, and the number that we saw from the job market this morning, it's a good example of how the Canadian economy is resilient. The manufacturing sector is affected by the tariff and by the lower export, but the rest of the economy continues to grow. We have more jobs today than 6 months ago, despite the tariff. So this is a good news for the Canadian economy.
Productivity. For many, many years, we've heard that the Canadian economy and Canadian businesses are not as productive as they should be. Is this a catalyst, finally, for Canadian businesses to become more productive and perhaps for policymakers and governments to take steps to encourage productivity?
Definitely, and I think productivity should be the #1 priority for government, for also businesses, because on the business point of view, if you're not as productive as you should be, you leave money on the table. You're not as profitable as you should be. Just for that reason, every business should look at how they can become more efficient, more productive. And technology adoption, for example, AI adoption, can really help businesses to increase their productivity. So this is a good time to look at how efficient our business is.
You've done some numbers. You and your team have done some numbers on the Buy Canadian movement or impulse among many Canadians. You've actually run some numbers on how much spending, additional spending on Canadian goods as opposed to U.S. goods or foreign goods might make an impact towards employment and economic growth here in Canada. Talk to us about that.
Well, our analysis is showing that if every Canadian family was spending $25 every week on Canadian goods compared to goods coming from outside the country, we will create up to 60,000 jobs in Canada. So this, this movement of buying Canadian is not only marketing; it's really a real impact on the economy. So we encourage businesses, people to buy more Canadian. It's possible to make a switch between foreign products and Canadian products. And especially this is the summer. And then during the summer, we like to travel. So it's a great idea this summer to explore the rest of the country. We have a huge, beautiful country. So it's a good timing to support the Canadian economy this summer.